Hey folks, welcome back to On the Bench. Today I'm going to tie up the 52 Buick. 52 Buick is a fly pattern that was created from a fellow named Gary Carlton out of Edmonton, Alberta. So it's a Canadian fly pattern meant to represent a damsel, baby damsel, regular sized damsel depending on what size. It could also be used as a caddis or a dragonfly or even a chironomid in small sizes. So make sure you have these materials handy before you tie the fly. For hook I'm using a Partridge of Redditch curved long, and it's size 16. This is a 2 times strong, 2 times long hook. For thread, I'm just using black thread. For the tail and the beard, I'm using Guinea fowl in natural. The rib will be flat tinsel in copper. You could use silver or gold as well. And for the head, I'm using Peacock Herl in black. So I'm just starting by laying down a nice base of black thread. Right down to the curve. You can do this on a straight shank. I believe the original was done on a straight thing. I like the curved shanks myself. Snip that off. Next we're going to take a little piece of the guinea fowl for a tail, and I like the one with the small spots on it. Ones I prefer. So just a little chunk, maybe about that much. I'm just going to tie it in a very short tail. It's not too long. There. Just go ahead and snip off the excess. And then tie back over it. I also like to just come down and put one wrap in underneath the tail, just to hold it up. Like so. Now you can take your ribbing material. So traditionally this fly is done with either silver or gold rib. Today I'm using copper. I do find in the Kamloops area, especially fish, they really like that copper color. Might have something to do with the copper mines in that area. So I'm just tying in my flat tinsel. Pretty much right on top or on the side, doesn't really matter. Like so. Tuck it back into my material clip. Hold it there for a second. Next for the body, you can just take some olive dubbing. So I'm using the Arizona Semi-Seal in olive. You could use Marabou as well. Like the bottom part of a feather works really good for this. In fact, you know what? I'm going to use the feather and save the dubbing for a different one. Show you how to do it with a feather. I do both anyways. So I'm just going to apply just a little bit of wax to my thread just to make it stick a little better. And all you do is I've just got it's actually a yellow guinea fowl feather. Use any kind of Marabou, olive Marabou. And I'm just going to pick it off of the stem. So I've got just a little amount here. And then I'm just going to spin that right onto my thread. I like to just put a little tiny bit of wax on my fingers because I have very dry hands. So I want that noodle to be nice and skinny around and don't break your thread. So I'm just going to work it all the way up the shank to make a little body. Maybe add a tiny bit more. Now you don't need much, you just need to pick it off. Like I said, just a tiny amount is amazing how it can spin right onto that thread and make a nice body. Take it right up to you where I'm going to start my head of my fly. Right about so. And now you can take your tinsel and then start making ribs of the fly. I'm probably going to get about 5 on this size. Nice even spaces. And then I'm just going to tie that off. 3, and I like to put a couple in front as well. Just going to snip that little piece of Marabou there. Snip that off. Next I'm going to flip my vise upside down. Just going to make some wraps up to the head here. Come back. Next I'm just going to take a chunk of the guinea fowl again. About the same amount as I used for the tail. This is going to be for the beard. I'm just going to make a pinching loop. 1, 2, center it there. Now I'm going to tie it down. I like to do one just in front of the feather and then back and behind. And I'll snip that really nice and close, like so. A couple more wraps. And you can just make sure that's positioned right. Now you can take your Peacock Herl, or you could use stubbing if you don't have Peacock Herl. I'm using the Peacock Herl in black. And I'm just going to tie it in right here at the front. Really well. And I like to take a little bit of super glue at this point. Make sure you don't get it in the eye of the hook. And then you can just begin wrapping your Peacock Herl into a nice little head. This fly is very similar to a dog spratly. It's almost like a mini spratly. And like I said, it works really well for damsels, even caddis, chironomids, dragonflies, depending on what size. You can tie them huge, like size 8s. I've done that before. Now you can take your whip finisher and just whip finish. Like so, and I like to add just a little bit of super glue to my head as well. Falling apart. You could run the thread through the Peacock Herl to make it more secure, but this crazy glue works pretty good in keeping it on there. And I have caught some of my biggest trout with this fly, especially in May, June. That's it, just snip your thread. So, I'm just going to pull my beard, make sure it's still on the bottom. And there you have it, the 52 Buick. Make sure you give that a go. It's a great little pattern. Thanks for joining me today on the Bench. Take care, everyone. Conserve the waters and tight lines.